Explosive start to the live stream, people. Welcome to the November 5th special of the Brews at 10 PMQs on my left eye. I'm your host Lefty. Welcome everybody. Hope you like the special intro there. Perhaps a touch loud, but intentionally so. Yes, 420 years ago today was a plot, gunpowder plot. And here we are for another episode of Keith's Catchphrases on PMQs. Over 4 centuries later. Are we all brewing tonight, people? Let us know in the chat, and please make sure you hit thumbs up as you join us on stream. Aaron Gray was first in the chat this evening. Just going to change that to live chat from top chat. I recommend you all do the same as well. There we go. Mobius also joining us. Flowsnake, good to see you all. Graham Turner with us. Are you all brewing? Funny you shouldn't mention the temperature in the chat. I am coming on to that later. Actually. COP30 and things like that. So it's actually a deputy PMQs with David Lammy stepping in for Keir Starmer, who's attending said summit. The 30th incarnation of the cop-out. Oh, sorry, the COP summits. Very nice to see a lot of familiar faces in the chat. And welcome to newcomers as well. Please do hit the subscribe button and you can join people in the chat just a minute later. And some of our members are already here. We're on 121 at the moment. That's fantastic. Well over the 100 mark now, and on the way to 250. Thanks to everybody for renewing recently. Not only does it get us towards that target quicker, it means that it's easier to edit the members roster. Seriously though, do appreciate your support. Other ways you can help the channel out: give us a share on your social media. That's gratis, won't cost you anything. Just another reminder to make sure you've hit thumbs up as well. But if you'd like to go a step further, people, please do consider using super chats, which are available if you're watching live. Super thanks if you're watching back later on, or the Buy Me a Coffee page. There's a description, there's a link in the description even of this stream and any other content on the channel. Although I believe the URL is simply buymeacoffee/mylefteyeuz. Someone might have made a typo whilst putting in the unchangeable link name. Thanks again everybody, appreciate the support. Solidarity to all 121 of you. I can certainly dig that.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Well, I hope you dig what's coming up on the stream tonight. Obviously, PMQs will be the main feature of tonight's stream. As always, that's a first time viewing and reaction from your humble host here. A few other bits of news as well, though, including, of course, the monumental election win for Mamdani in New York City. Great stuff. More about that later on. Some UK polling as well. Also, there's going to be another edition of My Left Eye Looks Back. I'm going to take a look at what was happening on 5th of November 2022 when I was in that there London, which is actually where the picture was taken at the beginning of the stream, if you saw that. So an analysis of that win in the mayoral election, some stats, and a few other bits and pieces, as well as, like I said, COP30 is underway, so just a bit of a look at climate and environment, plus a few bits more. We'll see where this leads. And this is going to be the second game in the new Keys Catchphrases League. So we'll see. Well, I'll save it until start the feature. First off, though, I do have a comedy clip lined up. This is old but gold. Well, it's from about a year ago. Not too old. Just thought we'd check this one out. Again, I think I may have even played this a year ago on a stream. That would have been in the nostalgic early days of the streams with that hissy microphone. Now and then you see people who've watched some of the older live streams, actually, as it happens, and having not watched one from a very long time ago, I don't watch them back at all myself, to be honest. Don't have the time. But I just wonder what the quality would have been like back then. We're getting towards another upgrade. But still appreciate people checking out some of the older content as well. So this is from about a year ago, like I said. This is Laurie and Paul with Broken News, a classic, old but gold.
And welcome back to Broken News, where it's time to get to the nub of things, our weekly catch-up with senior correspondent Smithers Nubb. Thank you for being with us, Smithers.
Good evening, Stephen.
And I suppose there's just one story on everybody's mind at the moment. It's been going on for some time now, and it seems unlikely that it's going anywhere.
No, indeed. And there does seem to be a complete lack of international will to address it. As many as 28 legally binding UN Security Council resolutions have been broken so far, yet the UN seems unable or unwilling to take action on what the UN itself has called Israel's continuing genocide.
Wait, Smithers. I was, sorry to interrupt, in fact, though, talking about Sir Keir Starmer receiving free tickets and then meeting Taylor Swift. It's the story that just won't die.
Is it? Yes, of course, Stephen, and many up in arms about the PM getting tickets to a music concert, apparently. People not stopping talking about that one. But no new details since the last time we reported it.
perhaps then we should move on, Smithers, because, well, big news out of the Lake District recently.
Yes, Stevening. An eye-opening story, this one.
Yes.
The Lake District, of course, one of the, if not the most beautiful part of the country.
Yep.
Imagine this, if you will, a nice warm summer's day.
Oh,
You
lovely.
decide to go for a dip with your brother in the cool waters.
Nice.
And as you get in, bobbing about together, those crystal clear waters
Yes.
turn out to be nothing but human effluents.
No, what?
Because more than 140 million litres of sewage, it's been revealed, have been illegally pumped into Windermere over the course of 3 years. United Utilities failed to report any of it. One of the most beautiful lakes in the country being used as an open sewer.
Smithers, sorry, I was referring to Kate Middleton's brother James, sharing lovely memories of him and her going on holiday in the lakes when they were younger. She was very competitive, apparently.
Was she? Great. Was there any more to that story, or
Well, it's interesting, isn't it, to hear about the Princess of Wales's early life?
not particularly?
Well, perhaps then time for one more story, Smithers. And, well, in my lifetime, I never thought I would see a German rise to power in such a way.
Yes, and I'm glad that we are covering it here on Broken News. The AfD, or Alternative für Deutschland, are on the rise in Germany. Of all countries, for a populist far-right party to take hold.
Sorry, Smithers, I was talking about the New England manager.
Oh, fuck off! Sorry, do I get to report on any actual news? I was under the impression that I was a journalist, that you're a journalist, that we're all journalists. Yeah? And we report on stories that mean something to people, that affect the world. Not this confected arse gravy about Taylor sodding Swift.
Well, I think that...
It's only because morons like you keep perpetuating it that Keir Starmer can't seem to...
Shake it off.
Shut up! The world is descending into chaos. Economic, societal, environmental collapse, social decay, grotesque inequality, mass poverty. An industrial war machine that grinds ever on, funding both sides and making obscene amounts of money from fueling perpetual war and creating untold misery. Well, we have to watch TikToks of innocent people getting their limbs blown off or burning alive.
Keep it
uncensored by social media giants who coin it in by destroying the mental well-being of us and our children. Meanwhile, the food industry pumps out low-cost, mass-produced, ultra-processed, chemically treated bullshit, destroying our health and making us rely on a pharmaceutical industry that doesn't care if we live or die, that then makes trillions from what will most likely end up being government-mandated obesity drugs.
Well, thank you.
Private train companies that can't run trains, private water companies that fill our rivers and seas with piss and shit, political leaders bought and paid for, continuing the status quo, and consumed by a loyalty to profit, unable or unwilling to take the necessary action to hold society together as communities die off and the environment falls apart.
Well,
and governments can't find money for school lunches, but they'll bail out the sodding banks. And the ultra-rich dick around in space in cock rockets, while you and I can't get a sodding doctor's appointment.
Well,
More billionaires than ever before, controlling the media and making you blame the poor souls escaping the jaws of the military-industrial complex or obsessing over which bloody toilets we use, while your nana freezes to death in a one-bedroom flat.
I think that
The whole thing is a system built to exploit people and the planet in the relentless pursuit of profit. And the other day, your top story was some prick allegedly
Yes.
fingering a bird on Strictly Come Fucking Dancing. Reports confirmed that she is in fact a total bitch. What a lovely story. That's all from Broken News. You're up to date.
Larry and Paul, do go and subscribe if you don't already. Classic one from them from about a year ago. Still very relevant, of course. Once again, there might be a obviously a fair few fireworks in the background. Sorry about that. It's like the Battle of the Somme earlier. No chance of seeing that supermoon tonight either. It's totally overcast. Oh well. I was going to give you some great live commentary on that. With no video feed on a faceless channel. Yes, and you can see it's still there, and yes, it still looks like the full moon, just it's bigger than it normally is. Quality streaming. Okay, people, please make sure we've all hit thumbs up on the stream. We'll get into the main feature. Deputy PMQs as it is this week. It's a bit of a mouthful. Because he's only the incumbent deputy as well. Obviously Lucy Powell won the deputy leadership contest. Since Angela Rayner quit / stepped down, it's been David Lammy, and interim deputy PMQ's 5th of November 2025 special featuring Keith's catchphrases is somewhat of a elaborate title, but that's what it is. Got some live reporting on the supermoon. Thanks for the update, Doc. Saw a bit of it and it didn't look too big. Thanks for the feedback. Let's go over to the panel for some immediately extraneous analysis. So, let's get cracking with Keith's catchphrases. Lammy's, well, whatever it is, Lammy's language. But we'll think of something. Keith's catchphrases.
We now come to Prime Minister's questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Deliver. Black hole.
Plan for change.
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 Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, it's another episode. Here we are. Regular viewers will be in the know about how the game's played, but just for anybody who doesn't know already, we pit two words or phrases against one another and keep score. Fairly simple, but there are a few other rules. First of all, with it being Keith's catch, obviously with the exception of when the interim Deputy Prime Minister's filling in, of course. God, this is getting increasingly complicated. It's very simple, however, here's a convoluted explanation. Not just because it's deputy, but normally contending phrases must be spoken by Starmer, Lammy in this case. It's winner stays on, unless they get onto such a streak that they've already played all of the other contenders, in which case both will be replaced. They also both get replaced if there is a draw. Variations on the word or phrase are allowed, for example, past tenses, pluralisation and so on. I'll be the judge of what does or doesn't pass. And finally, as this is a league format, which I'll show you in just a moment, just the second week of this brand new league format, but 3 points for a win, 1 for a draw, and nothing, zip, niente, bupkis for a loss. And the season will last until summer break next year, or Keith resigns, whichever's sooner. Probably the latter, of course. And then it's, what? It'll be Powell's something, will it, after that? I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay, hope anybody's down with the rules. If there are any questions, post them in the chat. I'll try and keep my eye on the chat as well. So very early days in the season, as it were, but we can see here with a 5-0 win last week, that's taken Budget to the top of the league. Well, kept it at the top of the league where it was. Oh no, it was second. It was second before, sorry. No, at first. In alphabetical order. 1 win, 5 mentions, and 3 points. Meanwhile, at the bottom, languishing at the bottom, was Inheritance. Suffering a defeat last week, of course. All the others are yet to play. However, with this being a special edition, and also an even rarer interim Deputy Prime Minister version of Keith's catchphrases, we are going to be bringing back an old classic. By far the most successful contender in the old winner stays on one-on-one format. Only ever suffering 1 defeat. But tonight, people, we're going to see the return of Postman Twat and Deliver. Where is he? There he is. It's just a bit... There we go. Yes, it's a very crude edit. Sorry, we lost the music there as we came into this. Someone should have left that unmuted, shouldn't they, Phil? Sorry, I can't get my words out tonight. I am drinking tea, I assure you. And nothing else, mate. So he's back. He's back. Can he take on the current defending, well, not champion, but defending winner? Which reminds me, actually, I need to get my got it. My fixture list. There we go. Because that will need updating. So we keep score there, as you can see. That's what comes up when the word budget gets mentioned. I think it could be a close contest, given that there's just been that pre-budget statement bollocks, and with Postman Twat having the reputation he does. Also, just on a personal level, people, this could be difficult for me, I do have to say, because I've just about gotten used to not going for the button any time that we're playing Keith's catchphrases or any of the other special games and the word deliver comes up. I still have the automatic reflex and response to hit the bell. Oh, by the way, you hear this every time one of the phrases gets mentioned, for anybody who doesn't know that already. So I'll see what I do. So it's deliver against budget. Off we go, people. Where's Mr. Flannelmouth? There he is. Let's brew this thing.
Right, that completes those questions. Before we come to Prime Minister's questions, may I extend a warm welcome to the President of the Portuguese Parliament and his delegation, who are with us in the gallery today. We now come to
Yes, welcome, welcome, socialists. Well, you've all been knocking off Polanski's policies on decriminalisation of certain substances. But now you welcome the Portuguese who actually do that. Interesting. Right, let's go.
Prime Minister's questions. Mr. Conor Rand.
One, Mr. Speaker.
Deputy Prime Minister.
There he is.
Mr. Speaker,
Actually, help me out here, people. What should we call this? Lammy's something instead of Keith's catchphrases. We need something. I know that there's a few good pun experts out there. Let's see what we got, people.
Right Honourable friend, the Prime Minister is in Brazil, attending COP30 in Belém and the Earthshot Prize alongside His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales. Mr. Speaker, the thoughts of the whole House remain with those affected by the appalling scenes that we saw in Huntingdon and Peterborough, where I spent 7 years of my life at school. We thank our emergency.
Boom. Lammy Lingus. That's quality. Nice one there. Super tiny. Yeah, I approve. Lampoonery. That's good. Lingo of the Lammy. Lammy Lingus. Lingo of the Lammy. Lammy's lazy arse cliches. Keep them coming, people. All very good there.
Services for their outstanding professionalism and the individuals who showed such tremendous courage to defend others. Mr. Speaker, this weekend is Remembrance Sunday. We will never forget those who fought to defend our freedom. It's been one of the greatest honours of my career to meet our troops around the world, whether in Cyprus, the Gulf or Australia.
Israel.
This week, the government...
Israel. 3 times Israel. Speaking of which, another few explosions outside. It sounds like bloody Passchendaele out there.
Announced the biggest renewal of armed forces housing in more than 50 years, kick-starting one of Britain's most ambitious building programmes in decades. This morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others. In addition to my duties in this House, I shall have further such meetings later today.
Come around.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And can I start by congratulating the Deputy Prime Minister on being the first black person to ever answer Prime Minister's question. A landmark moment for this place in our country, and I hope he is proud.
Is it? Well, yeah, he is. I hadn't actually realised that. How are we all feeling about Lammy's lingo? It does rhyme with bingo. Lammy talks horse shit. There's got to be some iteration. You know, the first letter of both words has to be the same. So, Lammy's lingo, I'm leaning towards at the moment. Lammy's lingo. Might even go so far as to adjust the title of the stream whilst we're live. Exciting things going down here on the November 5th special, people. Right, let's crack through this.
Mr. Speaker, my 8-year-old constituent Phoebe is battling cancer, and her parents are fundraising to help with treatment costs and to raise awareness of Phoebe's condition. And people across my constituency have been moved by her story and have come together to raise over £122,000. So will the Deputy Prime Minister join me in paying tribute to Phoebe's inspirational bravery? And will he celebrate the incredible generosity and community spirit of Altrincham and Sale West?
Yeah. Deputy Prime Minister.
Well, it's very kind of the honourable gentleman to say that, and I'm conscious that my right honourable friend, the member for Hackney North and Stoke Newington, and indeed the leader of the opposition, are both trailblazers who've stood at this dispatch box, and it's important to recognise the progress that we've been made, particularly in the wake of Black History Month. I also thank my honourable friend for raising this issue. It's heartwarming to see a community rally around someone as brave as Phoebe. So I wish Phoebe, her twin brother Eric, and her parents Lindsay and Mark the very best in their fight against cancer.
Shall the Secretary of State for Defence, James Corbett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And
I have to be honest, I zoned out for the last 30 seconds of that. Sorry, I was just making some adjustments in my notes and reading the chat as well. Was there anything in there? Did anybody have missed anything? Deliver or budget-wise? I don't think so. I would definitely know if there's been a deliver. I actually have been very open about this now. It's developed into a syndrome, if I'm being perfectly honest. The therapy's very expensive.
can I begin by associating myself and the opposition with the remarks by the Deputy Prime Minister about the terrible and horrific attack in Huntingdon. We wish a speedy recovery to those still in hospital and pay tribute to the brave actions of the public and the police. Now, Mr. Speaker, overnight, the father of the girl assaulted in Epping by Hadish Gabatu, the illegal immigrant, released by accident, said the government had failed them.
Well, I've noticed over recent weeks the rhetoric on this has been completely hyped up. I'm not surprised that the deputy Tory here is... God, what's his name? I've forgotten his name. Well, not particularly significant people politically at the moment, are they? Regardless, the BBC as well doing a job about accidentally released prisoners. I did notice as well, as soon as the name of the heroic passenger who saved a girl's life on Saturday was revealed, and his name wasn't John Smith, you know, the perpetrator, I should say alleged, of course, having a very English-sounding name and the hero not. They then immediately came out with a story about the Southport attacker's family having their suspicions that he might be dangerous to the public and all this, and ramping that up to the top of the news. So it's just immigrants bad in neon lettering with individual bulbs around it at the moment. It's awful. It's vile rhetoric. It doesn't represent the actual statistics, and it's pissing me off that the mainstream media, especially the BBC, are getting in on it, because apparently they think that they have to keep Farage and Reform appeased lest they win the next election, perhaps, because they'll come in all, let's defund the BBC, let's get rid of the BBC wholesale. Now, while I am critical of the BBC, specifically the news reporting in certain areas, the one I've just mentioned, as well as Gaza, but I don't believe in completely defunding the BBC. I think it is a great institution. It certainly has its flaws, it certainly has its biases, but as an institution it has to be kept. So maybe they're trying to preemptively appease the far right just in case they get a general election victory, who knows. But I'm sick to the back teeth of this whole syntax and atmosphere at the moment. What's the word? The hostile environment. They're the words I'm looking for. And again, we're going back to language used during Theresa May's tenure, which was a while ago now, a good while ago.
Relentlessly. Now, I confess, I'm surprised the Deputy Prime Minister hasn't already apologised. So I'm going to give him an opportunity now. Will he apologise to the family concerned?
Deputy Prime Minister.
Well, it's great to see the honourable gentleman in his place. I had expected to see the Shadow Justice Secretary, but nevertheless, I'm pleased to see the honourable gentleman.
Even Lammy, they're not supposed to call each other by name, I know, because of protocol in the House of Commons, and they're not even allowed to say House of Commons or Parliament. They have to say this place or the other place if they're referring to the House of Lords, of course. Unless they're quoting some sort of parliamentary such and such. My point is, even if he was allowed to use names, like myself, he probably wouldn't be able to remember his name either. What is the deputy, the shadow deputy's surname? I am not going to look it up. I am not going to look it up. Call yourself a bloody expert. Get your shit together, Lefty.
He must have missed the debate, because in the debate, of course, I said sorry for the anxiety caused whilst Kibatu was at large, and I repeat that, and it's hugely important that Dame Lynn Owes now gets to the bottom of what has happened with her further investigation.
James Cartledge.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Watching the interview last night, I have to say it was absolutely heartbreaking. And I have to say, Mr. Speaker, I do think he owes it to offer an apology here on the floor of the House. But he should have done that at the start of his remarks, Mr. Speaker. These are very serious matters, Mr. Speaker, which is why I want to ask him a further very important question. Can he reassure the House that since Kabatu was released, no other asylum-seeking offender has been accidentally let out of prison?
Deputy Prime Minister.
Well, the House is thankfully quiet, so I'm surprised the honourable gentleman didn't hear me when I said that, of course, I apologise and I'm sorry for the anxiety caused. But look, let me just remind him that he was a justice minister that allowed our prisons to get to this state in the first place. And it's now for us to fix the mess that we've got into. It's important that Dame Lynn Annals can now continue her work and understand what is happening. He knows that early release has begun under their watch in 2021.
Mr. Speaker, these are extremely serious crimes that we are talking about. I'm going to ask him the question again. Can he
I mean, I'm not going along with the way that they're playing it, but I literally don't understand how it happens by accident, because I'm someone who has been not imprisoned, but incarcerated. I've been in jail, whatnot. I know a lot of people who have been in prison for protests and so on and so forth. None of them were ever... Some of them were, air quote, accidentally kept in for longer than they should have been, the climate protesters, but I can't recall anyone accidentally getting released early. I was surprised once when I was only in custody for 2 hours, although it was on complete bullshit. I was arrested while I was filming, actually, not even taking part in that particular protest. But apart from that, you can't even class that as being released early. Just on the way out, does no one go, hang about? Aren't you the guy who sort of just came in because of that story that was all over the newspapers and your face was spread about and you're very easily identifiable? Or maybe not. Especially with cases like that. Again, I'm not trying to add to the rhetoric, which is, of course, xenophobic. They are highlighting brown people, and they don't highlight white criminals, who are much more prolific in this country, of course, statistically. But just saying, it is a bit of a bad do when people accidentally get released, whatever you think about the political situation.
reassure the House that since Kabatu was released, no other asylum-seeking offender has been accidentally let out of prison? It's a very specific question for him to answer.
Deputy Prime Minister.
After his release, I put in place the toughest checks we've ever had in the prison system. It is important that Lynn Owens is able to get to the bottom of her work. I suspect there'll be more checks and balances we need to do. What we inherited was a complicated system that they set up, letting people out on the sly. That's part of the problem, and we're trying to fix it.
Mr. Speaker, he's the Justice Secretary. He's responsible for the justice system. He needs to take responsibility. And I'm asking,
it's James Cartledge. I heard the Speaker say his name. I cheated. Sorry. But it's James Cartledge. That rings a bell. Secretary of... he's the Shadow Secretary of State for Defence. Yeah.
No other asylum-seeking offender has been accidentally let out of prison. It's a clear question. Can he give an answer?
Deputy Prime Minister.
Get a grip, man. I know I'm the Justice Secretary. That's why I'm at the dispatch box, also as Deputy Prime Minister.
Get this.
Know that. I'm not going to pray in...
But this is what I'm getting at. Do you remember how many times I've pointed out when he's responding to questions on Gaza, has this very sullen and slow way of responding to questions? Look at this. Look at the fire coming from David Lammy here. Mr. Oh, I know Starmer's on the way out. Britain's going to need a new leader. It's getting quite cosy here at the dispatch box, isn't it? But the difference between tone is certainly noteworthy. It will be good to see him getting this passionate about what's happening to Palestinians. However, we just get the slow and over-thoughtful, Mr. Speaker, we are adhering to the... And he very grits his teeth as he speaks quite a lot as well when he's doing that. Totally different here, though. Look at this. This is almost like university hustings kind of vibes.
Dame Anne Owens is a former Deputy Commissioner in London, head of the NCA. It is for her to get to the bottom of that work. Of course, we know that there have been spikes since 2021 under his watch. When did he come to this house and apologise?
And all the gesticulating as well. He's going to do a Heseltine. He's going to pick the fucking mace up in a minute, start swinging it around. I forgot to mention that when I was talking about Heseltine on the other stream recently, when he was talking about Farage being a fascist. But look at that from... You would think that he just insulted his mother or something like that. He's totally reactionary, It seems offended, personally offended in his response as well. Shabana Mahmood is equally surprised by this. You don't get this kind of enthusiasm from Keith, whilst, of course, I'll still concede that David Lammy's a complete and utter peen-arse. It's certainly more interesting than listening to Keir Starmer and his robotic drone every single week.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The purpose of government is to take...
I want to hear both. Quiet. James Carter.
Mr. Speaker, it's getting noisier now, so just in case he didn't hear me. He's the Justice Secretary.
Yeah, careful. Don't say that a liar's a liar. And don't say that a racist is a racist. You'll get pulled up on that one. And keep your voices down, for goodness sake.
Can he reassure the House that since...
Order.
Oh, he's in again.
I will have no gestures from the balcony. Let me reassure you, don't gesture to me. It's not a wise decision. This is important. Prime Minister's questions, all our constituents are listening.
People in Epping and right across the country want to know the answer, Mr. Speaker. So I'm going to ask him again. He's the Justice Secretary. Can he reassure the House that since Kabatu was released, no other asylum-seeking offender has been accidentally let out of prison? Can he answer the question?
Deputy Prime Minister.
I've got to tell you, I spent 14 years in opposition and I did a hell of a lot better than he's just done. I have answered the question. Under their watch, prisons were in a mess. Suicides went up. Prison officers cut. 20,000 neighbourhood polices lost. We've deported more in the last year than they deported in the last 5 years. Please, I'm not going to take any lecture from the Honourable Gentleman.
What's he on? What's he on? He's totally fired up. If this isn't... If he doesn't accidentally say, "So vote Lammy," in the middle of one of these exchanges, accidentally. Yeah, I think he's going for it. He's going for it. He sees the vultures circling around Starmer, and I think he wants his name in the running next year when that happens. So, yeah.
Mr. Juris and Mr. Stafford.
You heard it here first, people.
You test my patience each week. Today's not the day to test my patience. We do have quite a bank holiday, so I certainly wouldn't want to be testing it at the moment. James Cartledge.
I'll have to listen to that again, because that really didn't seem to make... We having a bank holiday, so what was it? He normally does the "you'll be going for an early cup of tea" routine, besmirching the good reputation of brewery.
Deported more in the last year than they deported in the last 5 years. Please, I'm not going to take any lecture from the Honourable Gentleman.
Mr. Juris and Mr. Stafford. You test my patience each week. Today's not the day to test my patience. We do have quite a bank holiday, So I certainly wouldn't want to be testing it at the moment.
We do have quite a bank holiday, so I certainly wouldn't want to be testing it at the moment. And what's the deal with airline food?
James Cartledge.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The public are extremely concerned about what happened in the Kabatu case. They want to know there won't be a repeat. So I'm
yeah, good point. The next bank holiday is Christmas Day. Fucking what?
putting to him a very clear question about his responsibilities. I repeat, can he reassure the House that since Kabatu was released, no other asylum-seeking offender has been accidentally let out of prison? Can he answer the question?
Deputy Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm looking forward to being up against the member for Newark next time. In 25...
Bet you're not looking forward to defending your seat in Tottenham, are you? Because that's one of the ones that Labour would be shipping to the Greens according to current projections. I'll be getting onto another one from up here in the northwest after PMQs. That is if he's talking hypothetically. He holds on to his seat. They might still be having those exchanges in 29 or sooner.
Years in this House, I've not witnessed a more shameful spectacle, frankly, than what the party opposite left in our justice system. Their criminal negligence on his watch as a...
And it's actually a shame, because I did like to see Lammy go at it like this when he was under Corbyn. Again, one of the Labour members who shamefully stabbed the former leader of the opposition in the back. And a waste, again, a waste of what used to be apparently genuine democratic socialist passion, but now sellout neoliberal, lobbied, of course, from all sides again. And yeah, it's a waste, but at least it's a small recompense that it's marginally more entertaining than hearing Starmer go at it.
Former Justice Minister. They left our prisons on the brink of collapse entirely, threatening to allow offenders to run wild on our streets. He knows that. Rape victims waiting years for their day in court. He knows that. Neighbourhood policing decimated, leaving our people feeling unsafe in their communities, and they haven't learned a thing. We are tackling knife crime, that's why it's falling. 13,000 more bobbies we are putting on the streets, kicking out 5,000 foreign criminal offenders. I've got to say to the honourable gentleman, he should do better.
Jonathan Blass.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My constituent, Georgia Hart.
Did Shabana, when he sat down, Shabana Mahmood, and it's like when, I don't know, sports team does a substitution or whatever, or a boxer goes back to his ring and she was, that was fucking shit up, mate. And then he goes, yes, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My constituent, Georgia Hart.
I think she said nice.
What, I got it to 6.
Cringe.
James Cartledge. Order. It is 6.
He doesn't even know which question they're up to. He can't even follow the order paper. He's gone off. Oh God, yeah. He's announced the wrong question. He's gotten ahead of himself. Oh dear, Lindsay.
6, you've had your 6. Sorry,
We're up to question
I was
6.
correct.
I'm telling you.
Jonathan Blass.
Mr. Speaker.
Order. Jonathan Brash.
Mr. Speaker, my constituent, Georgia Hart, was just 15 years old when she was diagnosed with Friedreich's ataxia, a cruel and degenerative condition that slowly robs a person of their mobility and independence. Since then, her courageous parents have battled day in and day out to raise awareness and money to get her the treatment she needs. There is now a drug, omavalaxolone, which has been proven to slow the progression of the disease. Yet despite this, it's been stalled by NICE, partly because the number of patients affected is judged to be above the limit for ultra-rare conditions. Georgia and those
Still
like her
nil-nil.
are being failed not because the science isn't there, not because the treatment isn't there, but because simply the numbers do not add up. Does the Deputy Prime Minister agree we cannot allow bureaucracy to stand in the way of life-changing treatment? And will he commit to ensuring that I, along with Ataxia UK, can meet the relevant minister at the earliest opportunity so that Georgia and her families do not lose more precious time?
Deputy Prime Minister.
You're watching Planted Question of the Week on Interim Deputy Prime Minister's Questions featuring Lammy's Lingo on the Brews at 10. My left eye.
Well, Mr. Speaker, like the honourable member for Braintree, it doesn't seem that the spokesman can count, let alone stand up on behalf of the public. But can I thank my honourable friend? Our NHS has a strong record in delivering new medicines for rare diseases, and that evaluation process is rightly led by NICE. As I understand, the manufacturer of the new treatment for Friedreich's ataxia has withdrawn from this process. However, the door remains open for the company to re-engage, and I'm very happy to arrange a meeting that my honourable friend is seeking more broadly to help ensure everyone gets the care they deserve while investing an additional £29 billion in the National Health Service.
Daisy Cooper, Deputy Leader of the Liberal Democrats.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of my party, can I join the Deputy Prime Minister in expressing our horror at the terrifying knife attack at the weekend and pay tribute to all those, including the emergency services, who put themselves in harm's way to protect others. And as we approach Remembrance Sunday, can I also join him in remembering all those who gave the ultimate sacrifice for our rights and our freedoms?
And fuck fascism.
Those rights and freedoms are now under threat in a way that we have not seen since the Second World War. Putin is waging war on our continent and interfering in democracies across Europe. The Chinese government is waging espionage against this House, and Elon Musk is inciting violence on our streets. To date, the government has failed to heed our calls for a new inquiry into Russian meddling, failed to place China on the enhanced tier of country threats, and failed to launch an MI5 investigation into the threat posed by Elon Musk. So can I ask the Deputy Prime Minister, what will it take for the government to act?
Yeah, we've got this bizarre paradox that we are mass consumers, mass importers of Chinese goods at the same time as wanting to declare them as an enemy of the state. Can't have it both ways. And noticing the increasing frequency in the xenophobia. That's worrying. That's worrying. It's also deeply hypocritical, considering how much we import from there.
And protect our democracy.
Deputy Prime Minister.
Well, I'm very grateful to the honourable lady. Can I just remind her, as Foreign Secretary, I stood at this dispatch box and I spoke to the China audit that we said we would do in coming into government, and we did that. I did it on the same day that we published our national security strategy, and of course my defence colleague has also published the Strategic Defence Review. She looks across all three of those documents. They set this country in the best place possible to face down the threats that she rightly refers to.
Daisy Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I hope the Deputy Prime Minister in his new role will consider our calls again. But right now, families across the country are struggling with a cost of living crisis. Yet the Chancellor...
Poverty. It's called poverty. I hate the term cost of living crisis. I loathe it. I abhor it. It's poverty rebranded. So call it what it is. Cost of living crisis is Tory syntax. They invented that language.
...is preparing to increase taxes. Meanwhile, because of high interest rates and arcane Treasury rules to do with quantitative easing, the big banks are making billions of pounds in windfall profits that they never expected. Austerity, not quantitative easing. God, what do you think it is, 2008? Quantitative easing. Funny how the banks get very socialist when they need bailing out with public money, isn't it? That quantitative easing. Get to fuck. That they never relied on and never had to take any risk to earn. So without asking the Deputy Prime Minister to preempt the Chancellor's budget, can I ask the Deputy Prime Minister which he thinks is fairer, taxing struggling families or taxing big banks?
Deputy Prime Minister.
Well, she knows we've got 80 years of convention, and it is for the Chancellor of the Exchequer to present her budget later on this month. But can I just say gently
We're off the mark, 1-0.
It is under her government, in which they were in coalition with the Conservatives, that we saw austerity right across our country. And she will know that there are major parties proposing austerity again. And I know that the Chancellor will do everything she can to continue, as she set out yesterday, to invest in our NHS and our public services.
Well, it was deregulation and obviously all of that stuff under Thatcher and Reagan that eventually led up to the 2008 crash, but it did happen on Labour's watch, and it was Chancellor of the Exchequer Sinclair who then decided to bail out Barclays with public money and other banks. So there has to be at least an element of shared responsibility there, David Lammy, because Labour had been in power for a good long while when it happened, and they certainly didn't do anything to help with the regulation, which could have prevented that global crash. Excuse me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The leader of my local council, Kent County Council, has said that there is a shop window on Reform UK, with councillors facing criminal charges, inappropriate conduct and behaviour, a defection, 5 expulsions, a failed Doge cost-cutting drive and an authoritarian leader who shouts and swears at colleagues. Does the Deputy Prime Minister agree with me that the people of Kent deserve so much better? And how is the government going to ensure that we deliver higher standards in local government?
Set him up for a deliver. Is he going to respond?
I see the Honourable Member for Clacton in his seat. Reform said...
Well, that makes a change, because they never show up to fucking vote for anything, even the things that they really claim to actually give a piss frig about, if you'll pardon my French this evening. But there he is, with a rare appearance. I've not got the any of the Farage inserts up at the moment. Here's an insert. He's a complete and utter bastard.
First time I've seen him in Prime Minister's. But, Mr. Speaker, Reform said that Kent County Council would be the best advert for what a Reform government would look like. They're delivering on the chaos that they promised.
And we have an equaliser.
Standards in public life. I say to the honourable gentleman, Mr. Speaker, this is
1-1.
I used to replace the honourable gentleman on LBC, so we've known each other for many years. The disgraceful, racist language that we heard from a Reform MP last week belongs in the dark ages.
Yeah, that's true. Just want to give a quick shout out to More. Thanks a lot for the gifted membership there. Libyology. Hope you enjoy your perks with your gifted membership. Let's update the total. On to 122. Awesome stuff. Let's give More a shout out in the chat, please, everybody. It pains me to do so, but I have to agree with Lammy there. Although it's low-hanging fruit, just to point out how disgusting the language that Reform MPs and councillors use, and this is all on his watch. It's just a cesspit of... Well, what can you say? What can you say? They're all absolute cretins. Stephen Flynn, here we go.
It feels like it comes around quicker every year, Mr. Speaker, because the 22nd to the 28th of November marks BBC Scam Awareness Week, and by sheer coincidence, the Chancellor...
Oh, is it comic relief already? Oh, no, Children in Need.
...has chosen that week, of all weeks, to deliver her budget. So given her previous broken promises on energy bills, on inflation and to businesses, can he confirm to the public that if they see something suspicious on tax at the budget, they should report it?
Deputy Prime Minister.
I usually look forward to the bombast that the honourable gentleman brings to the chamber, but as usual, the SNP will say anything to distract from their appalling record.
Well, you're still getting wiped out in Scotland at the next election, whether you like it or not. You're going to take an absolute shafting.
In the week where Scotland's Health Secretary had to apologise for the state of the health service on their watch, he could have mentioned that in his question. We will
Here
see
comes the nodding
what
Wesley.
is in the budget later on this month.
And it's 2-1.
Charlotte Nichols.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know the thoughts of the whole House will be with everyone affected by the Huntingdon attack. And we should praise the actions of the train's driver, Andrew Johnson, and the heroic guard, Sammy Zatuni. In my mind, a worthy candidate for consideration for the George Cross, as we wish him well in his continued recovery. Andrew Johnson told ITV News he was, quote, just doing his job. Will the Deputy Prime Minister take this opportunity from the dispatch box to recognise the importance of our railway crews, drivers and station staff and the vital role they play in keeping us all safe, from averting suicides on the rail network to dealing with antisocial behaviour and emergencies like we've seen this week?
Deputy Prime Minister.
Well, I'm very grateful to my honourable friend. The actions of the driver, Andrew Johnson, and the train staff member, Samir Zatuni, were nothing less than heroic. And I'm sure that the whole House would agree that some form of recognition is absolutely deserved. Our country is defined by these people, working on the front line, caring for and supporting.
Make Farage give it to him. Make Farage give him the medal and the big certificate with writing at the top in Latin, whatever he's going to get. But make Farage give it to him. Do it.
Supporting the public every single day. I'm proud to be part of a government that's fighting for them, increasing their pay, tackling the cost of living crisis and fixing the public services that we rely on.
Bob Blackman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And on Sunday and on Tuesday, we will honour those that made the ultimate sacrifice from not only this country, but across the Commonwealth. Which is why I wear not only the poppy, but the marigold to honour the Commonwealth troops that gave their lives. But next Sunday, the week on Sunday, will be the parade at the Cenotaph.
Apologies, Morbius. That was a double gifted membership. Need to update the total. Thanks. Once again. Shout out again, everybody, in the chat, please, to more. Let's update the total. 1, 2, 3. 123. Awesome. And another one from Aaron. Just as I'm doing that. Awesome. Thanks very much. Shout out again to Morbius and Aaron. 1, 2, 4. What a marvellous audience we have here on My Left Eye. Thanks again, people.
By the Association of Jewish Ex-Servicemen and Women, where Jewish people come together, veterans, men, women and children, will parade with the medals that their forefathers won.
We're on a bit of a promo hype train. Nina Sadie as well, thank you very much.
So
125. Do you have any advance on 125?
With anti-Semitism on the rise, that a senior cabinet minister...
I'll just pause actually because I want to hear this question as well. Credit where it's due. Nina Sadie, Aaron Gray and Morbius. Thanks once again. I'll just rewind the video slightly. Didn't quite catch all that question, if you'll forgive me.
We rely on.
Bob Blackman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And on Sunday and on Tuesday, we will honour those that made the ultimate sacrifice from not only this country, but across the Commonwealth. Which is why I wear not only the poppy, but the marigold to honour them.
Because you're an imperialist across just the Commonwealth. Yeah, it's only the Commonwealth countries of the world were affected by World War I and II. Are you for real? You for real? I mean, come on. The country who suffered the most in World War I was Russia by a very long way, shortly followed by France, and then again in World War II, Russia by far with the most deaths, most casualties, in the tens of millions, some estimates, but certainly in the millions. It's ridiculous. This what is painted as patriotism, but really it's just imperialism.
Commonwealth troops that gave their lives. But next Sunday, the week on Sunday, will be the parade at the Cenotaph by the Association of Jewish Ex-Servicemen and Women, where Jewish people will come together. Veterans, men, women and children will parade with the medals that their forefathers won during World War II and the Great War and other conflicts. So it will be particularly apposite to this year, with anti-Semitism on the rise, that a senior cabinet minister comes to that parade and lays a wreath on behalf of this House and the whole country to remember the...
I'm just going to have to scroll up. Sorry to interrupt the stream yet again. Just double checking, I've given all the credit. Aaron Gray's actually sent 3 gifted memberships in total. Fantastic. So that's 2 that I've missed, I think. So 127. Any advance on 127, people? Come on, let's keep this thing going. I think we might be up to a record. Or close to it. Did we get over 130 once? I'm not sure. Graham Turner, thanks a lot for the super chat as well. No problem if you can't gift memberships. Let's show that some, appreciation. Is that button working? It is. Thanks again, Graham. Thanks a lot, people. Really do appreciate the support. So 127 now. And thanks again to Graham Turner for that awesome super chat. Solidarity, everybody. Onward, imperialist. Quickly before we do, Stu as well, celebrating 5 months of standard membership. It's been great to have you with us, Stu. Hope you're well this evening.
Jewish people that gave their lives for this country so we could all be free.
What was the question?
I'm very grateful to the honourable member for his...
I just assume the general question was, aren't we all sad that there was a war and didn't we do well and nobody else was involved?
Question. I bought a new suit this morning because my godmother said she would be watching. But his question brings to mind the West Indies Regiment and their contribution in 2 world wars. And I'm very grateful to the Honourable Member for Sunderland South for ensuring that despite wearing a new suit, I've managed to put my poppy on. We wear the poppy to remember all those who fought and died for this country.
To fight
they
fascism.
They represented every walk of life, every race and every religion.
Anti-fascists. They were anti-fascists.
My ministerial colleague, the Noble Lord Coker,
Antifa.
will be proud to lay a wreath at the annual remembrance event at the Cenotaph to mark our enduring gratitude to generations of Jewish service personnel.
And never again. Never again. What was that saying all about? As well as lest me forget, there's never again. Isn't there, David Lammy? With reference to, begins with a G, begins with, it's something that we're complicit in as a country. It begins with a G. I'll take UK complicity for 400, please. Stu, thanks a lot for the super sticker there. Awesome. Really appreciate it. Solidarity.
Veterans. And I'd like to thank Ajax for organising the event and for all they do throughout the year to keep alive the memory of Jewish people, many of whom are in my constituency, their descendants in my constituency in Stamford Hill, who gave their lives for this country.
Susan Joseph.
Mr. Speaker, I'm regularly contacted by leaseholders and residential freeholders from across Ashford, Hawkinge and villages who raise concerns about rising property management fees, poor service and lack of transparency over what they are being charged for. As they already pay council tax, it is wrong they pay extra for maintenance of roads and green areas on their estates. Will the Deputy Prime Minister update the House on the actions the government is taking to reform the current outdated system so that my constituents can look forward to having stronger rights, greater powers and improved protections?
Yeah, well, I can answer that on behalf of David Lammy, who's answering it on behalf of Keir Starmer. The budget is going to shaft all of the low earners in the country wholesale. It's also going to take another chunk out of public services, including the ones that you described that are somewhat dismal in your constituency. So that's the way it's going to go.
Deputy Prime Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, for millions of leaseholders, the dream of home ownership has fallen woefully short of what was promised. That's why we're implementing the Leasehold and Freehold Reform Act, providing homeowners with greater rights, power and protections. We'll bring the injustice of fleasehold to...
So, landlords would be included in that category as well. Doesn't help out with the social housing problem, does it? Even the things that they want to gloat about, without much analysis, are actually negative.
And protecting people from unfair costs.
Excuse
and as
me.
he knows, my honourable friend for Greenwich is going to meet the director of First Port to address serious concerns over their performance.
Pete Wishart.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. On Monday at the dispatch box, the Defence Secretary said the Scottish Government were a threat to national security. A charge repeated this morning by the Scottish Secretary. What he, in effect, was saying is that a democratically elected government, elected by 1.3 million Scots, possess a threat to this country. I don't know if it's something the Deputy Prime Minister will repeat at the dispatch box today, but can he tell me why democratic Scotland is a threat to national security and China is not?
Deputy Prime Minister.
Well, the second. I mean, in terms of boots on the ground, certainly not where China's concerned. Where cyber warfare is concerned, that's a whole other problem. As I've said before, we receive millions of cyber attacks every week, and you really do have to keep up with that. But where Scotland's concerned, I do have to agree with that point. I do support Scottish independence. And I think Labour just feel threatened. They know that so many people who would have voted SNP lent their votes to Labour at the last election, and they don't have particularly long fuses or tempers. They don't have a lot of tolerance, as the rest of the United Kingdom does. For the time it's taken for Labour to bring anything in, which is still not happening. In fact, things are getting worse.
I took a DNA test a few years ago. I'm 5% Scot. The people of Scotland are not a threat. They're not a threat to national security. It's the SNP. And they decide to get rid of nuclear deterrent that's a threat to national security. You should hide his head in shame.
Lingo.
An Englishman being 5% Scot isn't that shocking. So, heard he's talking to people. We're fucking 100% Scots, you fucking cunt, you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is at this time of year that many of us think of those who have served their country and continue to do so. Those like my granddad who served in World War II and brought up my dad and my uncles in forces accommodation. Those like my nephew currently serving who sends me videos of accommodation riddled with black mould. So would the Deputy Speaker, the Deputy Prime Minister, welcome with me the new Defence Housing Strategy announced this week, which will guarantee the end of the scandal of unfit forces accommodation? And will he guarantee to my residents in Stafford, Eccleshall and the villages, the 500 plus military families, that they will finally have accommodation fit for them?
Prime Minister.
Well, can I pay tribute to my honourable friend for championing our armed forces who make extraordinary sacrifices to keep our country safe. We are renewing our country, and that includes renewing our contract with those who commit the ultimate sacrifice. 4,000 military homes, that's 9 out of every 10, are going to be upgraded thanks to the 9 billion that we are investing, and of course that will include her constituency, homes fit for heroes delivered by a Labour government.
An equaliser.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I echo the words of the member for Harrow East of how proud I am to wear the marigold alongside my poppy? Last year, Sadiq Khan was elected London Mayor with a promise to keep a police station front counter open in all 32 London boroughs 24 hours a day. Labour have just broken that promise to Londoners, as only 2 will remain. This year, the Met Police has 1,419 fewer police officers and staff, fewer people working hard to keep Londoners and our visitors safe. But in Sutton-on-Cheam, we've just had our High Street police team cut from 11 to just 4 officers, inevitably leaving my constituents less safe. So does the Deputy Prime Minister agree with the Liberal Democrats and Sir Mark Rowley that a shrinking Met Police force compromises their ability to keep Londoners safe?
Deputy Prime Minister.
Just go back a second there. Sorry that David Lammy's face was covered there. If you'll forgive the pun, I'll just go up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I echo the words of the member for Harrow East of how proud I am to wear the marigold alongside my poppy? Last year, Sadiq Khan was elected London Mayor with a promise to keep a police station front counter open in all 32 London boroughs 24 hours a day. Labour have just broken that promise to Londoners, as only 2 will remain. This year, the Met Police has 1,419 fewer police officers and staff, fewer people working hard to keep Londoners and our visitors safe. But in Sutton-on-Cheam, we've just had our High Street.
Massive number over his face when he frees it there. It's a huge tattoo.
Street police team cut from 11 to just 4 officers, inevitably leaving my constituents less safe. So does the Deputy Prime Minister agree with the Liberal Democrats and Sir Mark Rowley that a shrinking Met Police force compromises their ability to keep Londoners safe?
Deputy Prime Minister.
Well, as he knows, the previous government cut police officers and PCSOs while also critically underfunding the criminal justice system. We're acting in London, funding the Met, Mr. Speaker, up to 262 million this year, and we're investing 200 million this year to put 3,000 more neighbourhood police on our streets by spring. Through our crime and policing bill, we'll also give them powers that they need, including enough tough new respect orders to tackle crime and make our streets safer. But I do just say gently,
Starmer could be out by spring.
Because he's a Liberal Democrat. They come to their feet.
What are you doing now? That's what he's saying.
They ask for more funding, and then given the opportunity, they vote against the reforms that will actually grow our economy.
Laura Kirk-Smith.
Mr. Speaker, in Aylesbury I've been running a programme called Your Voice, Your Future to help young people engage with politics and shape the issues that matter to them. They've sent in ideas for the school curriculum review, they've advocated for better mental health support, and they've shared their fears about smartphones and social media. Will the Deputy Prime Minister join me in recognising the contributions and ideas of young people, and what more will he do to ensure that they can meaningfully engage in national policy?
Deputy Prime Minister.
Well, can I applaud my honourable friend? She's a passionate champion of the next generation. She will have seen my right honourable friend, the member for Sunderland South, launch her curriculum review, which will deliver high standards for every child, giving them the skills they need to thrive.
He's taken the lead,
and
the old
their
devil.
engagement in our democracy. And I'm proud that we'll also be giving 16 and 17-year-olds the right to vote in our UK elections, to make their powerful voices heard.
3-2.
Mr. Speaker, burning waste is as polluting as burning coal, and we already have incinerator
34, just 3.
overcapacity. So when will this government renew the last government's pause on new incinerators? When will it end perverse deliver or pay contracts with incinerator companies? And when will it deliver an incineration tax, like the landfill tax, to encourage waste reduction, reuse and recycling?
Deputy Prime Minister.
Ronald Gentleman is very experienced. He knows that our country's future on energy is in renewables. That's why we're investing in renewables, and he should listen carefully.
You keep harping on about nuclear and technology that doesn't even exist. Carbon capture is what you hear the most. We're certainly behind on renewables. Keith's over in Brazil for the COP summit. We'll get onto that a bit later, but we're still behind on previous commitments, even as far back as Paris, which was in 2015.
Carefully to what the Honourable Prime Minister has got to say when he gets to COP. The Chancellor will have heard his observation in terms of further taxes. He's got to wait until the end of the month to see what happens.
Adam Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Since this government has massively boosted the national minimum wage for young people.
And stop Rosebank while I'm on the... And another thing, tangent alert. Stop Rosebank. Stop Rosebank.
My constituents in Erewash earn far more than the £3.40 an hour I got paid in my first job just 17 years ago. What is the Deputy Prime Minister's response then to those, including the Conservatives and Reform, who claim that £10 an hour is
standard supermarket lobby poppy from this member?
Too high a wage for young workers? And does he happen to know whether any of the Reform leaders' dozen extra jobs pay him less than £10 an hour?
Well, I was looking at the honourable member for Clacton's
His what? His what?
Members' interests, and he's making quite a lot out of gold bullion. You've got to ask, why does he want to cut the minimum wage for people who are not making even 1% of what he is? The Labour Party's on the side of young people.
Yeah, it's... the math's just a complete bullshit when it comes to anything that they say, whether it's in the manifesto or whether it's what their version of the budget was has been absolutely torn to shreds quite easily, even by the mainstream media over it. They just don't add up.
Boosting their wages and delivering the youth guarantee to help everyone realise their potential.
I'm 4-2 now.
I hope young people recognise what the two other parties want on their record.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. People across the...
Well, having suffered a loss, some thought he might never recover now. Garnering a 4-2 lead. It's postman swat and deliver, people.
Country are fed up of extensive and needless delays caused by road, rail and utility works happening at the same time. A failure to coordinate. My Transport Duty to Coordinate bill would fix this and cut disruption, supporting communities and the economy. Now, I understand the government is looking for ways to support the economy, apparently. Would he pass on my proposal to the Chancellor and back my bill?
Deputy Prime Minister.
I'll certainly pass them on to the Chancellor.
Tom Rutland.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Seeing a dentist is crucial not just for people's dental health, but also for their broader health and well-being. But access to NHS dentistry has been a growing problem for a number of years. And in my constituency of East Worthing and Shoreham, only 2 out of 10 dentists are taking on new adult NHS patients, and the number is the same for children. So can the Deputy Prime Minister set out what this government is doing to improve access to NHS dentistry and to put a healthy smile on my constituents' faces?
Deputy Prime Minister. Minister.
My honourable friend is right to raise this issue. It's an important issue up and down the country. We're taking
we're going to
action
get the
to address
obligatory
the appalling
nod
inheritance
from
received by
Wesley.
rolling out extra urgent and emergency appointments across the country. We're also reforming the dental contract, recruiting more dentists and making sure
get the camera on
that they work in the
straighting.
National Health Service for a minimum of 3 years.
3, 2,
Freeman Bell.
1.
Mr. Speaker, the inclusion of...
Oh, they didn't do it. They were talking about the health service and we didn't get the nodding dog at Nodding Wesley. Strange. Maybe they've started to watch Keith's catchphrases on the Brews at 10. Who knows?
Of Oxford University Hospital Trust in the rapid review of maternity and neonatal services is welcome, and reports today in the New Statesman and Channel 4 speak to failures at that trust. Will the Deputy Prime Minister commit that the outcomes of Baroness Amos's review will be carried out in full, and commit to this House that the review is the start of a sea change in maternity services and not a whitewash?
Deputy Prime Minister.
Baroness Amos is a dear friend of mine, and I know that the Health Secretary is considering her recommendations.
Janet Davey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have seen Hurricane Melissa devastate Jamaica and leave the country in crisis. The Imperial College Storms model states that the hurricane was unlikely without climate change. Now, I know that Prime Minister is at COP30 representing the UK.
There's a Category 5, actually, which, Jesus Christ, it sounds like the fucking third Battle of Ypres out there. Sorry, it's not coming through too much on the mic. I've got Kursk outside. What we were talking about there. But yes, it's the frequency does increase, but actually the intensity increases a hell of a lot more because of climate change. So something that wasn't expected or was supposed to be low level could, and we'd seen it, it's demonstrable. Jamaica the other week going up to a Category 5. Like, truly devastating.
Against climate change. But I asked my right honourable good friend, the Deputy Prime Minister, if he will ensure that the UK leads the way on preventing climate change.
No, don't.
Well, I'm deeply saddened by the loss of life and the scenes of devastation in the great country of Jamaica. And like the honourable member, I have relatives in Jamaica, and I thank and commend my honourable
You do a DNA test and you're 5% Jamaican as well.
friend for her personal fundraising efforts. The Prime Minister and the Foreign Secretary have been in touch with their counterparts to offer our full support, with 7.5 million of aid funding already mobilised. We've chartered flights from Jamaica for British nationals who are unable to fly home commercially. Jamaica will also receive 71 million from the Caribbean Risk Insurance Pool.
Yes, super tiny. We've gone over 1.5 degrees. We're on course to go over 2 as well, which is another major tipping point. After 2 degrees, we're into real nightmare territory, and it gets increasingly worse, even by a fraction of a percent after that. Global warming and sea warming is what it's all about. I'm going to come on to one specific example of a tipping point when we get on to COP30 stuff. Just getting towards the end of PMQs now, people, and then on to other territory. Hope you can still hear me over the top of the Battle of Berlin outside.
Funding which begun under the previous Labour government that they can draw on for their renewal.
Rishi Sunak.
Mr. Speaker, can I thank the Deputy Prime Minister for joining me at a recent event in Parliament to support the work of Prostate Cancer Research, a charity where I am an ambassador.
You know, wouldn't you have it? Sometimes you just forget that Rishi Sunak was a thing. Didn't he get up? Shouldn't he be in America? The American, Mr. Non-Dom. Why isn't he? And now here he is. I was taken aback there, to be honest. I totally forgot. I totally forgot myself. Still hate the guy. What's he asking though? Just get the full question again. There'll only be a couple of questions or so left.
Under the previous Labour government that they can draw on for their renewal.
Rishi Sunak.
Who?
Mr. Speaker, can I thank the Deputy Prime Minister for joining me at a recent event?
It's Rishi Sunak.
In Parliament to support the work of Prostate Cancer Research, a charity where I am an ambassador. He and I both believe that introducing a targeted national screening programme for prostate cancer is the right thing to do and would save lives. So does he also agree that the recent compelling results of the 162,000 patient
Resigning in the rain, he resigned in the rain.
European trial support this case, and that this evidence, alongside data from prostate cancer research and others, should be given significant weight by the UK's National Screening Committee?
Deputy Prime Minister.
Well, can I thank the right honourable member. Too many of us will sadly know someone affected by prostate cancer, and I have too many members of my family that are living currently with prostate cancer, which is why I'm very proud to co-chair the prostate cancer research event this year and last year with him, and I share his determination to boost research, speed up treatment and deliver better care. Now, he knows I'm biased, but these are rightly decisions for the Health Secretary.
Well, this is harking back to the days of old. He's off again. 5-2 now.
The UK National Screening Committee is reviewing the latest evidence of prostate screening and considering whether any changes should be made to save lives. We've invested £42 million jointly with prostate...
Jenny Riddle-Carpenter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Over the past 15 years, there have been 100...
He didn't even let David Lammy finish his question there, did he? He just started shouting over the top of him whilst... I don't think that was any kind of editing error, or I didn't do that. We just right, enough of this crap. I want to go and have a cup of tea. Yeah.
Event this year and last year with him, and I share his determination to boost research, speed up treatment and deliver better care. Now, he knows I'm biased, but these are rightly decisions for the Health Secretary. The UK National Screening Committee is reviewing the latest evidence of prostate screening and considering whether any changes should be made to save lives. We've invested £42 million jointly with prostate...
Jenny Riddle-Carpenter.
We'll never know. Invested $42 million with Jenny Carpenter. Enough of this shite. Oh, God. He's terrible. Yeah, he wants to get on with his non-existent bank holiday, Nina Sadie. Did he mean to say half-term? Because some of the schools are on or going on half-term, aren't they? Next week. And even still, it doesn't make sense. It's probably not worth riddling your brains too much over it. I was just, okay. Jenny Carpenter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Over the past 15 years, there have been 170 cases of matricide, and in 2022, more women were killed by their sons than by strangers. Child-to-parent abuse...
By their son... What? Matricide?
...is often linked to complex mental health, and earlier this year, I met with Laura and Ian, who are doing all they can to support their son with his rehabilitation after serving time in prison. Mr. Speaker, they are living in constant fear of physical harm from their son, who they love and adore. Will the Deputy Prime Minister support me in meeting the relevant minister to discuss the effects of child-to-parent abuse?
Deputy Prime Minister.
Matricide is a horrific crime, and we're committed to tackling it. Our VORG strategy will set out how we will halve violence against women, including domestic abuse, over the next decade. And of course, I'll arrange for the Minister to meet with her.
Final question, Martin Vickers.
Well, that was harrowing, actually.
Mr. Speaker, Lindsay Oil Refinery in my constituency is under threat of closure with the loss.
Did he say the Lindsay Oil Refinery? The Lindsay Oil Refinery?
Final question, Martin Vickers.
Last question.
Mr. Speaker, Lindsay Oil Refinery in my...
It's almost too good. That's too good. Refinery.
Constituency is under threat of closure with the loss of hundreds of jobs. A number of expressions of interest.
A oil refinery. A fucking oil refinery. Oh. Well, it did help to keep 4.5 billion barrels of it in the ground.
In taking over the whole
You're welcome.
site. If one of those passes the test of due diligence, could the Deputy Prime Minister give an assurance that the government will back the project and allow the continuation of operations at the refinery?
Deputy Prime Minister.
I can't give him that assurance from the dispatch box, but I will, of course, ensure that the relevant minister meets with him.
A point of order, is it to correct the number of questions that I was right and you were wrong? I hope you're not going for a job at the
Turns out he was
Come on,
right.
then.
Even a broken clock's right twice a day. Who was it that made a point of order?
It's on a serious issue, I think, Mr. Speaker, just to be clear. The Telegraph
Oh, what's this? It's just...
are reporting that a police manhunt has been launched for a second asylum...
Oh, they're going on about that. I just quickly want to wedge in some more xenophobia. I know it's all over bar the shouting, but I'm going to do the shouting, and it's going to be complete and utter crap. Yes, that's the real threat to our country. Small boats, not private jets.
Pull the other one!
Take a bow, postman swat. Can't bring up the current standing on the league, but that will take Deliver and Postman Swat to second position. Didn't quite surpass the 5-goal advantage that Budget got last week. So a very strong comeback there, 5-2 win. That was better than the usual pantomime, I have to be honest, between Starmer and Badenoch. Again, still a massive critic of Lammy, of course. But at least a bit of pep, a bit less of the roboticness. But he's only interim deputy. As I said, what did you make of that, people? Let us know in the chat or in the live stream. If you're watching back later, please do make sure that you've hit thumbs up. If you're watching live, we'll get on to one or two other topics in just a moment. We're actually sticking with Parliament, and whilst there wasn't a gunpowder plot, there was a representation. I have to be extraordinarily clear about this. A representation a performative representation of a bomb at Parliament Square today. A few of my friends were down there in the square. Let's see what's happening.
Pull the other one!
Oh, not that one. I just need to get rid of all this stuff as well. One moment. But it was a climate protest, and a few friends of mine highlighting the AMOC bomb. You can see that I've just turned this clip down. A friend of mine, Rangson, go and check out social media. Top guy as well. Shout out if you're watching. Rangson. Such a real name. But yeah, for anybody who isn't aware of AMOC, it's an acronym. It's Atlantic Meridional Overturning Current. Essentially, it directs warm currents around large areas of the globe. It would affect our country as well as others that are on the same latitude, such as, or longitude, sorry, Canada, Russia, for example. And if it disappears, we could actually see in Europe, in our particular area, in what is now a temperate zone, a massive drop in temperatures to subarctic. This is how crazy the climate crisis can get. It would be searing heat in other places, freezing cold in others, but a complete turnaround, everything completely juxtaposed on its head. So it's under serious threat. Can't be overstated, and that's what this protest was all about. I'll just let this clip play. It's only short while I do a bit more commentary about it. You might see a few familiar faces in this line, actually, who've featured on the channel before. There's the aforementioned, again, clearly a performative representation of an incendiary device. This isn't my footage, by the way. This is Rankson's. We've got a few familiar faces. Just seeing if there's anyone who I can mention who might have featured on the channel. Just going to play that again once more. To say well done on 5th of November this year. Well, I was there in London 3 years ago myself, and that's where we're going to go to next with My Left Eye Looks Back. Shout out again to the AMOC protesters, AMOC bomb. Just get the music in. Because there was one quick thing I wanted to mention, actually. Just very quickly, sticking on UK politics before I go over to My Left Eye Looks Back at what was going on in London a few years ago. Another poll, people. This time in the northwest in Birkenhead, in Merseyside. And another green gain from Labour. This is a projection now, not just a poll, an actual projection. 34% of the votes. That's a 14% rise. Labour down 26%. So the Greens matching Reform's rise, who actually nudge Labour into third place. Labour in third place, once again, is a phrase that we're going to have to get used to over the next few years, I fear. I don't fear. I expect. Just wanted to quickly point that one out to you. Has to be said, they're on the up and up. Moving on.
If I could save time in a bottle, the first thing that I'd like to do is to save every day till eternity passes away, just to spend them with you. If I could make days last forever, if words could make wishes come true, I'd save every day like a treasure, and then again I would spend them with you. But there never seems to be enough time to do the things you want to do once you find them.
My Left Eye looks back again, and this time we're going back to this day, 2022, like I said, down in London. Don't have any background music here, just give me one sec. Just got to go back to the main chat and steal a copy of the background music. Okay. Smooth, seamless. Well, yes, what a day it was, November 5th, 2022. Massive, excuse me, march that I was co-stewarding with JSO. A ton of other organisations were there as well. Through London, ending in Trafalgar Square. Well, I'll get on to that. Won't give any spoilers out, but we'll just take a look at some of the footage from that day. There's only a few bits and pieces here. I do have some other stuff, but it's got me in it pretty much in this Faceless channel. Don't have time to sort of edit myself out of all that or whatever. But I can show you a few clips here. You can see the sort of size of the march we're talking about. Yeah, it was fantastic. Really great to be there. Thousands of people. That was on Embankment. It started off on Embankment, and then we went across the bridge. We did go past Parliament itself, and then down Whitehall, and it ended up in Trafalgar Square. I can see a few familiar faces. It's actually good to go back and look over clips. It was a rainy day, I remember that quite well, but a really good vibe. Really good vibe there. This would have been, I think Liz Truss was still just about Prime Minister when this march took place. So yeah, 2022. JSO peeps now. There's one of the old school, really old school JSO signs on that one. But we took as many as we could, I remember. Having to carry a shitload of gear down there. Amongst other things. So then we ended up in, oh god, sorry people, it's too late now. XR Samba Band. Ended up in Trafalgar Square. Quite a lot of people, as you can see, decided to sit down, do a roadblock. So I was there. This is my footage, by the way. Sorry it's a bit on shaky camera. Just dug it out. I didn't know I'd end up using it on a live stream. Didn't even have a live stream or My Left Eye back then. But I was there with Sean Irish and a few others co-stewarding and health and safety facilitating. They're going around. I'll just play that one again actually. And the band's going the whole time. Actually, I'll just turn the background music down, turn the band up a bit. But they were all kind of like, I don't know if you can hear me, but I do have to warn you that if you... And then you're like, what? What? At one point, me and Sean had to scarper, actually, because it looked like we were going to get nicked. We'd really want to take the chance, couldn't risk getting arrested that day. Just turn this up a bit. So you can hear a lot of the chanting and the band, but I do remember that, though. You sort of see him going round and everyone's like, I can't really hear you, you know. There's a massive sort of samba band right behind me. So then they just sort of marauder and meander around. They did start arresting people at one point. Trafalgar Square again. This was 22, Aaron. This day in 22. Yes, the lettuce days. The lettuce days. Just a bit more from a... What's he doing? Back up now, I think. Stopped. I think it stopped. Evening, Andy. Fellow Brewster. Yeah, just going over this. Time is running out, we're doing this for you, was the chant. Just to point out as well, this was... before this, we did a 6-week action phase. I was there through most of that. I had a few days back up in the north here and there, but most of the 6 weeks I spent down there. And then we had this in November, and this was shortly before the M25, the now infamous M25 gantry actions as well. So you can imagine the sort of the physical and mental strain of doing this for a couple of months in a row, either witnessing or being arrested or doing media or whatever. So yeah, and then a very long march. I remember I slept very well after this. Later that evening, but we did, as I said, have to skedaddle at one point, myself and Sean. And then later on, we went to this great thing, sort of a forest party, a bunch of XR people and JSO people with around a campfire, and very dark. It was in the right in the middle of a forest. In fact, I had a couple of conversations with people who I still don't know what they look like. I'm not talking about a massive roaring fire either, but a really good end to the evening. And having done the march and everything and all the rest of it was pretty exhausted, as we all were. Yeah, well, a really good night after a really good day. Yeah, very proud to have stewarded and and been there. Very proud of everybody who chose to sit as well. So that was what was going down in London a few years ago. Trip down memory lane there. Where's the pop-out chat gone? What's going on here? I might just have to refresh that. Sorry, I didn't notice that. There we go. Bada bup, bada bing. All right. Now we can. Now the people can be seen. I'd like to know your thoughts on that as well. Let me know in the chat. Now that you can see it, and the comments if you're watching back later on. So that was My Left Eye Looks Back.
If I could save time in a bottle, the first thing that I'd like to do is to save every day till eternity passes away, just to spend them with you. If I could make days last forever, if words could make wishes come true, I'd save every day like a treasure, and then again I would spend them with you. But there never seems to be enough time to do the things you want to do once you find them.
Okay, people just loading up a bookmark here. I'm sure it's not news to all of you that Mamdani won last night in New York, as for the first time you unanimously gave us your opinions on in the poll last night, and you were all right, because you are all right. It's not breaking news, like I said, I'm sure you're already aware, but we're going to look at some demographic stats just quickly, because it's already turned into a bit of a long stream. But it still sounds like Passchendaele outside. And this will be salting Donald Trump's wounds. He's Muslim, he's South Asian, and he's also a democratic socialist. Which is different from a communist. That's something that Donald Trump doesn't seem to be aware of. And he's vowed to take on authoritarian Trump and fight for affordability. This is great. Can't overstate how monumental this is when you consider it's the biggest city in America, the home of capitalism. It's elected a socialist mayor. But who voted for him? What are the demographics? Let's see what's happening, people. I've got some stats here, some of which might surprise you, to be honest. Yes, the socialists have taken New York. Let the revolution begin. Only joking, only joking. I declare Bolshevism immediately. Seriously though. So first of all, we're going to do by age and gender, and you can see that one highlighted there, which is top of the pile, and apparently 84% of women aged 18 to 29, which is the youngest demographic, so young women, with the biggest demographic. Shortly followed by men in the same category, but 68%. There you go. The only categories where he didn't have a majority of the vote there were with women over 65. Only 35% of that, but apparently they make up 18% of the total vote share. And women in the next youngest category, 45 to 64. So it looks as though he had the youth vote all tied up. Again, men over 65 on 36%, but counterintuitive, I don't know. JK, you take socialism, communism or anarchy? Well, anything would be preferable over this. Just let it be left. So some interesting stats there. And also, sorry, this one's horizontal, but for what it's worth, by religion, if you want to bring religion into this, there is something about this graph though, these results. You'll see mostly it was atheists, people who have no faith. 72% of those voted for Mamdani. But what you notice is it at the top to bottom, Protestant or other Christian, it says, which make up 21% of the vote. 41% of those voted for Mamdani. But then they also have Catholic, which for some reason doesn't come under the other Christian category, but there you go. Jewish, 31% of the vote. Then other, which was 67% of the vote. But considering there's a sort of, essentially, a trifecta of Abrahamic religions, Christianity, Judaism and Islam, that they don't have separate stats for Islam or Muslims, that is, and they get lumped into the other category. There you go. And Hindus, Sikhs would be lumped in there as well, despite there being hundreds of millions across the world. But there you go. So apparently the atheists all went for what it's worth, for Mamdani. Congratulations, I should say officially, on behalf of my left eye. Will be very interesting to see what happens in New York now. We're going to get a wholesale embargo on Israeli products. Well, it's the things like rent and other public services that I think is what he put on the ticket. So yeah, let's do this. And he better be genuine. He's genuine. Very young as well for a mayor. 34 years of age. And overall it was 50.3% of the vote share. Quite impressive. Graham Turney, you want a government that introduces a debt jubilee. Can't argue with that. Yeah, decentralised, redistributed. I think I forgot to ask you this on the last stream as well. I might try and segue into just one quick word on environment before we go. But before that, what do you think about the difference in style and tact between the Green Party and your party at the moment? That is, the Greens are more or less playing your standard party format, whereas your party seems to be going for these assemblies, these they're known as meetings. That's the terminology that they're using, and they have these little sort of assemblies there whilst they do them. But I'd like to get your feedback, what you prefer, just as a side note. Andy, thank you for the gifted membership, 1 to 8. Awesome. Let's big up Andy in the chat, please, everybody. So speaking of the Greens, I'll use that as an opportunity just to segue into a quick point about environment, with it being COP30, and I guess this will bring us back round to where the conversation started at the top of the stream. How warm it is. So I noticed it's around 14 degrees here in Manchester at the moment. We're in November. And tomorrow, I did take a quick look, it's going to be 19 degrees Celsius, centigrade. Again, in November. So I'm going to be doing a separate, excuse me, we're going to be doing a separate video about COP30. I'll bring some of it up on future live streams as well, possibly this Sunday. We'll have to see, so please do check that out. But what do you think about that? The notoriously chilly northwest, sitting in 14 degrees here. I'll be honest, I've got my sleeves rolled up and the window open, and it's November. And it's not because I'm doing the stream from right next to a bonfire either. For what it's worth, 420 years ago, that was a swing and a miss. I don't like to celebrate the persecution of that. Also find it slightly ironic, just taking it back to those religious demographics. You have Catholics out there, or descendants of, celebrating bonfire night and letting off fireworks without a hint of irony whatsoever. We might not be having this conversation. Who knows? Who knows? But it's certainly something that has been remembered in Britain for over 4 centuries. But it certainly is getting hot. 19 tomorrow. 19, can't believe it. Right, people. Getting towards the end of proceedings. Stay put though, as you were. Because the members deserve another shout out. Thank you so much for the gifted memberships as well this evening. Sending to the heights of 128 now. And thanks for the super chats and super stickers as well. Do appreciate the contributions and your support. I'll be redirecting, grading into another channel as well. So worth sticking around. Let's see who's about. Also, just a quick reminder, super thanks are available if you're watching back later on, and there's a Buy Me a Coffee page. Check out the link in the channel description. We have Ploppy Pants 111, Mr. Kevin Logan is broadcasting live. Let's set that raid up. There we go, that's locked in. Thanks again, everybody. Solidarity. We have a great membership here on the channel. Really awesome people. It's been brilliant to see that grow as well recently. And one or two of you celebrating milestones as well for memberships on the channel tonight. Thanks for that. Okay, people, I think that just about wraps it up. There will be more live streams from this channel before the week is done, so please hit the notification bell. You won't miss out on any content. I'll join you over with the raid into Kevin Logan in just a moment. Don't forget to hit thumbs up, give a shout out in the chat and subscribe if you don't already once we get over there. But from me, your humble host Lefty, this has been the Brews at 10. Interim Deputy Prime Minister's Question Time featuring Lammy's Lingo special. And I'll be seeing you soon. Take care, everybody. Free Palestine and Sudan, and power to the people.